Hey everyone, guess what? We're here with the mighty Alex Skolnick of Metal Allegiance and Testament and the Alex Skolnick Trio. Metal Allegiance has a new show coming up, has another show coming up January 22nd, 2026 in Anaheim at the House of Blues. Be there or miss all the fun.
It's going to be a good time.
Alex, yes. Yeah,
Sorry.
no, you're good. Um, you know, what is, you guys have been doing this for what, 6 years now? Or I mean, rephrase that. It's been like 11 years now, right?
Yes. Well, it's been about 11 years since we did the first recording. We've been playing these shows at the Anaheim House of Blues around the time of the NAMM Show. Starting shortly after that, I think it'll be 10 years this year,
That's awesome.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe the first one was 2016. Maybe 2017. I could be wrong, but it's either way, it's roughly 10 years of these live
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah. Is there a year that sticks out to you as like this was the best, or are you looking forward to this one more than the
They're all
others?
completely different. So you never know what to expect. That's a big part of the charm. You never know who the special guests are. I thought we'd sort of, I thought we had a tough show to beat when we paid tribute to a lot of, we call them the fallen heroes. 2017, I guess it was, because we'd lost David Bowie, Prince.
Lemmy.
I mean, it
Yep.
was just great. We even, included a little bit of Prince in there, even though it's not but necessarily metal allegiance. But yeah, just so many greats had left us. So I think, paying tribute to all those heroes, that was a highlight. But then this last one, this earlier this year, 2025, uh, that seems like the one to beat. I mean, for one thing, it was the first time after COVID. So, after a couple years where there were questions whether this was even going to be able to happen again, to get it up
Yeah.
and running again felt great. And we had a lot of special guests, and even the mighty Robert Trujillo joined us. So it was the first time we'd had a member of one of our favorite bands, one of the biggest bands in the world. So you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's super cool. It's always interesting from an outsider's perspective to hear what you guys are doing and
Uh,
have going on because it's you feature so many of like my favorite vocalists, John Bush and Chuck Billy and William Duvall and so on and so forth. It's fucking amazing, is what it is.
yeah, it's an incredible lineup of vocalists, and they're all pretty. Nobody's brand new. You could say they're all veterans. We do have some younger players that pop up as band members.
Yeah,
Doc Coyle has been with us for a while, although not that he's a kid either. But
right.
we've had some. Testament's current drummer Chris Dovis. There's an example of somebody who's really young, but he's like an old soul. But yeah, the singers tend to be these seasoned vets, but that all are all at the top of their game.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's a weak link, amongst the bunch anywhere, which
Hmm.
is, it's got to be hard to do managing everyone's schedules and making sure you've got time to rehearse and then play. What's that like?
Yeah, well, it's there's not a lot of rehearsal. It's mostly individual rehearsals. Yeah, everybody's sort of expected to come in knowing what to do. There is a night before rehearsal in town that takes place, and then the day of the show, there's an extended sound check, which sort of counts as a rehearsal. And then, we just hope for the best. Think at that point, it's sink or swim.
Yeah, yeah, pulling it that close. But again, with everyone being veterans, I'm sure everyone does
Hmm.
really well at
Yeah.
practicing, and I don't know, it's got to be hard, I think, as an individual to go out and practice and to be so like
Hmm.
disciplined at that, you know?
Right, right. That's true.
Like,
You just get used to it, and that's yeah, we know the assignment, and that's about it.
yeah, yeah, that's about it. Is there a vocalist out of all the vocalists that you've worked with Metal Allegiance that you prefer working with or that you look forward to working with more than the others?
Oh, no, they're all, they all have, they'll bring a certain thing to the table. What's great is that some of them are, I wouldn't say they're interchangeable, but they can sing each other's parts. It's very that very sad loss a few years ago. Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah,
That was a rare case of like a younger vocalist that we brought in, and he just fit like a glove. I mean, he was really like a part of the band, and I think if he were still around, he'd still be there. But he sang this what's become like an essential song for the band called The Accuser.
the Accuser. Yeah,
Yeah. And you know, a singer like John Bush is somebody you think of very differently than a singer like Trevor. But
yeah,
we've put John Bush on that song and it works. It's different. He doesn't try to sound like Trevor, he does his own thing, but and we've done other exchanges like that. There's a song that Randy Blythe sang on the record called Gift of Pain that's on the debut album, and that's been covered by a couple different people. Chuck Billy sings that one really well.
yeah.
So
Again,
yeah, they all have their own sounds, but it also often works to switch them up and do different songs.
yeah, and that's I think it's really cool for them to go and do it and to sing their own style and not try to sound like someone else. That's something that I've always enjoyed with John Bush is he does his own thing. Everything he does, he makes it his own, and his voice is so unique. You can pick it out of
Yeah, absolutely.
100 voices. You
Another
know,
example of that is "Dying Song," which was originally sung by Phil Anselmo,
yep,
and it would be easy to fall into the trap of trying to sound like Phil Anselmo and becoming a caricature. Yeah. And he doesn't do that. Bush does not do that. He sings it
yeah,
his way, but he captures that spirit that Phil has. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's it's a lot of big shoes to fill singing these other songs. You
absolutely,
know, like
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing the track record we've built up with great vocalists, both in terms of the recordings and the live shows.
yeah, well, and not just vocalists, right? Guitar players and bass
Oh
players, and
yeah, no, it's
the the community you guys have is phenomenal. You got Jack Gibson, Gary Holt, Troy Sanders. Like, holy shit, you know.
yeah, the whole
Uh,
thing is a blur, really, because when we were doing these records, yeah, it's very kind of high intensity process, deadlines, dealing with all these different schedules, and locking down all these players, and it's amazing to look back on it and be reminded, wow, we we've actually pulled this off.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And I've got we'll end with one final question that is not Metal Allegiance
Hmm.
focused. For you, I know one of the things I enjoy about you as a guitar player is not just that you're a metal guitar player, but you're also like a very skilled jazz player.
Hmm.
How does the jazz reflect in your metal, or how has that like shaped your metal playing?
Yeah, I don't think it's affected it, sonically, but it certainly gives me a lot more tools to work with. It gives me more fluency. I think it gives me more musical shapes that I might not have tried otherwise. Instead of going through, relying on the main vocabulary that is most often heard throughout the history of hard rock and heavy metal. There's a lot of licks and there's a lot of shapes that are pretty common.
Yeah.
And it's not that I never use those, but I have this whole other well of information to draw from. And you hear that sometimes. I try not to overdo it. Um, I don't want to sound like somebody, that listens to too much Alan Holdsworth playing over a metal song. I want it to
Yeah.
sound metal, but also, would like to tastefully be able to throw in some lines that, maybe it comes from John Coltrane or Wes Montgomery. And also in terms of just the thought process. You know, um, it used to be for me, it used to be mostly listening to myself and the drums. And I still do that, but I'm sort of more locked into the drums. I think my playing overall is more locked in because to play jazz improvisation well, it's about rhythm as much as it is about harmony, and
Yeah.
getting the rhythm together really develops your listening skills and your mental skills too. Just you have to be aware. You really have to be aware of what's coming next. You have to just have this heightened awareness, and I think that helps, even though I'm not dealing with chord and dynamic changes so much as I am in improvisational music. Just that awareness, what's coming up, and just being prepared. I think playing jazz guitar really strengthens you in that way.
Yeah. I could see that. I think it makes you a much more well-rounded player, I would say. Dave Davidson from Revocation is another example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We know each
You know,
other. Yeah, he's really got it together. It was great to get to know him and know somebody else that really has that side together and can play, an archtop instrument and through a combo amp
yeah,
and sound right. Do and play some quality jazz guitar chords and licks.
yeah, that's super cool. Okay, I know our time is short today,
Yeah, I'm sorry I
Alex,
don't
so I'm
have
not
more
going to keep
time.
you. You're totally good. Thanks for
Yeah,
the time you've allotted me. Have a great day.
absolutely. You too.